So it is Monday morning. What have we got? So on the floor that we finished last Friday is we've got two lava bench ends, a left and a right, there in ductile, as well as two posts, just square posts for Canning Street, the fella for his gate posts. We've got all the cast iron fire bars are all finished, well moulded, the rest of the order, and we've got a load of patterns coming from one of our customers. But have a look at this pattern. This is unbelievable. I've got to make sure I don't get customer's name in it. Let me get the right side. Look at this, absolute beauty. So that's the main one, the main body, and near the end caps. The black part is the core print. Obviously makes the inside of the end cap. Look at that. Brand new pattern. Nothing better than when you get to work off a new pattern. But that's unbelievable, that pattern. Like, love making these. Motor casings, aren't they? So just something else to make. Because they look boss. They do. They look great. So we've got them to finish. Well, to mould. So they'll be getting done this week. Which will be great. So fire bars, there's some of them on the floor. And oh, there what the fire bars look like once the cast. They come out sound. You got your runners and you got your risers on each one. So obviously if you looked at the previous episodes, they're still there. So let's go and see what Steve had finished. Or has he finished them? Have you finished the aluminium caps?
The what?
The aluminium end caps.
Backed up, ready, in there, counted.
Counted, how many?
Yeah. 120.
120?
Yeah.
Should be more than 120.
150, yeah. 150.
150, yeah. If any extras, there should be extra.
Yeah, put in the tray, under the thing. Separate. What's bagged and boxed is 150.
You sure now? Because if you said 120.
No,
150.
150. 150.
Oh, the video. with the minions.
Oh yeah.
I went episode, MC Weekly episode number, I think it was 9. No, 10. And then you go, we'll finish the minions, and you go, woohoo! And then we got it where he's throwing the screwdriver at you.
Where's the other minion?
Yeah, and he launches it at you. I haven't put that in, like, because he's on it, he doesn't want to be, but
I should have put that in, that was what I wanted to see.
I've got it on me on here anyway, I can show you it. But it's funny. Right, let's go see what Steve's finished. The aluminium end caps. Oh, the top hats are finished as well. I don't think I've shown you the top hats. Obviously, aluminium end caps. They're all boxed according to Steve. Doesn't look like there's many in there. This is what they look like. Because we already had 30 and 50. Oh, there's another bag, so 50, 30, 50, 130, must be 20 in there. So this is what they all look like. They probably should be die casting, to be perfectly honest, but they come out sound. Customers happy. He was moaning the other week at me though, saying some of them didn't fit, but we've actually got a template, so we know that every single one fits onto what it's meant to go on. So obviously we test them, and I said to him, we've got a template, we test them. He said, oh, they must have been the older ones then. But it is what it is. There's the top hats, they're all done. They need to go out. There's some of the little fire bars that are there, that side, finished. But them top hats, I'm not sticking that one on my head like, but they're all done. Are you going on the fire bars now then?
Yeah.
Sounds.
Yeah, fire on, we've got them to do, yeah.
They're not on, Steve.
They're not on?
No. Made them to make the bronze cast. I've quoted for them. So, we had to take the gamble to build the cast up.
Right, okay.
So, touch wood, they come on. Should be getting some pipes as well for blasting today, because we were meant to come on Friday. So hopefully we get some today.
So drag that river down off there to do down, there's no need to do them.
Well, I need to get the motors on. We'll have to chase them up again.
Chase them up again. Please, desperate.
We've got to ring the lads for the gate. The gate that we've shot blasted.
Me?
Well, Steve's blasted. Yeah, his gate we blasted last week. And obviously where the rust had already been. Obviously it's now been left over the weekend. And look what the rust has already started to do when it oxidises. So where the rust originally was, across the edge, it's starting to oxidise very quickly. That's only from a week. So obviously when you get something blasted that has been when you've had something blasted that has been rusty, it does turn pretty quick, so it needs to either get coated straight away, or if you're getting it galvanised, highly, or whatever the customer wants. Well, that's so far for a Monday. So here we are making the end covers. So first steps first is I've got a box, thought that box will do. So I was getting the bars ready, because obviously we're putting metal bars in to keep the strength with the sand, make sure there's no bends, etc, because you don't want anything to happen, do you? But the box was very deep, and it would have been just a waste of sand really, so obviously that size of box, I have lids that go with that. Got Paul coming out checking I'm doing my work correctly, as usual. Thinks I don't know how to do the job. I've been doing it 9 years now. So what I did do is I used 2 lids. He's trying to tell me I'm doing it wrong again, but he's not making it, I'm making it. Switching them round because the bars on the inside, obviously he's still going to put bars in this half as well, in this top. But obviously this is the bottom of the box. So obviously putting our parting powder on, obviously that's like a release agent, helps when taking the job out the sand. Obviously ramming it up, got to make sure it's tucked all the way around, compact it, putting the bars in there for strength. It's just straightforward with this really, you just got to ram it up, make the bottom as flat as possible, because when it sits on the floor you want it flat. Then we get onto the core. The core's actually going to be the lid. The little things I've got putting on the inside, they're my lifters, so obviously when I'm lifting it with the crane I've got hooks in, so that I can lift it up and down. You'll see that in a minute. Obviously same again with the powder, make sure it's tucked very well all the way around, compacted nice and tight, because obviously the better it is, the better the casting's going to be, and the better the finish. Put the bars in, ram it up, leaving a little bit on the top. Now we've got it, well that was gone off because obviously we rammed on the top, we'll get this out. So obviously I'm lifting it this way because it's going to lift it up, and then I'll flip it round, which you'll see, because obviously it's pointless just lifting it up and then turning it around. Obviously once I've got it on the floor it's that way, and that's how it's going to sit. Now we've got to take the pattern out, making sure I'm lifting straight. There was all the bolts things in the pattern, so all I had to do was put my lifters in, lifting it up, going slowly because I don't want nothing to happen, don't want it to tilt, don't want it to do nothing, because I don't want to make any marks on the sand, do we? So we try and keep it always clean. So now obviously we've got that out, we've got to get the core out. Getting the core out of there, we've got to be same again, keeping it slow, keeping it easy, taking our time. Obviously you can see the way I've got the lifters, got a chain in, bringing it up nice and slow, because obviously with the fins, I'm going to call them, thingies, you've seen it there, it had a little wobble. So we got, obviously you don't want no breakages. So first steps first, before I finish that, I need to try it in. And because I'm using that as my top and not putting a top box on, I need to line it up to know where I'm going to run it, which obviously you'll see me messing around trying to do. Obviously using the crane quite slowly, just taking our time, as there's no rush. Obviously you don't want nothing to happen. Obviously I've got the little locator, as you can see at the front there, that obviously make sure that is in the right position. Obviously, it's in its name, it's a locator. So it's just one of them. You've just got to make sure it fits. Obviously, this is the first time we've done this, and this is the first time this has been used off this pattern. So everything's got to be spot on. It could have been slightly a little bit big. It could have been, might not fitted, and might not. You don't know until you actually start making it, because obviously the slightest millimetre a little bit bigger can cause a lot of problems. But obviously, it sounds. So what I'll end up doing now is I end up marking it up, because obviously I need a runner and I also need a riser. There I am saying where I want my runner, which I already marked off the bottom box. So all I had to do was mark that box. So where I put a little line on the bottom box of where I wanted it. So when I put that in, I know I'd just follow that line, and then I had to come in about 1.5 inches because of core print, where the core sits in. So by doing that, I know I'm getting on the job and getting right where I need to be on the job. Obviously, me and David, we always try and talk things through. It's just one of them. It's what you do, isn't it? You want to make sure it's right. You don't want to be making jobs again. So just talking and speaking to each other and bouncing ideas off, that's what we always do. Sometimes he might say do it this way. Sometimes I say, no, I want to do it this way. But we do it with both of our jobs. The jobs he's making, the jobs I'm making. It's just how we work. Then we got a mould coat it, which was a fun job. I made up, we got the crane, because obviously I don't want to turn it over to then mess around, so I just stick it on the crane, hang it in the air. Obviously you can see it gets everywhere, and you'll see that because it lands on the camera. But I think that's just a part of the job, isn't it? You got to do it. It's all part of the fun and games. To me, it's one of the best parts, because I like it when it goes on fire. But you can see, look, fire landed straight on the camera. Obviously, don't paint the inside of the centre bit there, because that is core print as well. And obviously, you've got the core print on the outside. And what I did do there is, when I loaded it, painted in the runner, because I want the mould coat in the runner as well. And you might be thinking, well, that's not the mould, it's just the runner. But when you pull the metal in, you've got to make sure it's clean. And then next jobs, once it's gone out, we've got to put it in, and I'll probably try it again. Like, you're always checking it, lifting it up, making sure it's clean. Try it in. Obviously you can see me line there now. See, not happy, want to take it out, blow it out. I'm not gluing it either, because of what it is, and obviously the way I'm doing it, and then I'm happy with it, and that's how it is. So it is Tuesday morning, and we're in early today. It's just gone 7:15. In early because we've got to get off early today. So you'll find out about that, because we've got to go somewhere. So me and David are leaving early, because we're going to an unveiling of the plaque that we made. It's only a small plaque, but it's on a bust, and obviously for who it is, it means something. It means something to us, because obviously, I'll give you the hint, we're all Evertonians, so we sort of know this person, sort of. We know everything about him, we know who he is, etc, etc. You can get what I'm on about, you'll get what I'm on about. But obviously, if you don't follow us on our Instagram, you won't already know what it is, because I will be doing a video separate to this on our Instagram account with some other photos, maybe the day after of it. So you'll see that before you will see this. So we're going down there today. Obviously yesterday you would have seen us making the end covers for the motor casing that we were on at the moment. David was making all of the smaller jobs. So with that, we've got the motor casing to make, so hopefully we'll get that moulded today. I was debating wanting to cast and then clear the floor, but then we'll get everything done, and then we can just cast everything. You need to throw more metal in, but to clear the floor and get that order out in a short time frame is obviously something that we always go for. We always look to complete jobs quick. Speed and quality, that's what we always go for. But obviously, don't forget, I think the casting industry the foundry industry is, you're up against people importing castings.
a lot of the time nowadays, so speed is our advantage. We can turn castings out yesterday, do you know what I mean? So we've got all that to do, so we'll be doing that today. We are expecting more wagon parts to come in for what they are, some sort of dipper. No, forget now. Like bucket sort of things, they'll only be small. We've done them before, so you would have seen them. So there's 180 of them coming in today. But he's still on them other jobs because the blaster keeps on breaking down. So due to us not having our proper dust extractor on, which is obviously quite powerful, it's not cleaning it to how it should be. So it's knocking us back because it keeps blocking up. So with the dust, when the dust settles, the dust is mixed in with the shot. Obviously we've got things there to help, but they don't perform to the way the main motor does on the dust extractor. Obviously it's quite large on our part. It's not massive, not compared to some of the motors we've done. With what we've seen, it's only like obviously big fish, little fish sort of job. Yeah, so we're sort of relying on waiting on that. I got in touch with them yesterday. The lad who we were dealing with is now gone on holiday. So I had to sort of tell them what I wanted. If they can't do it and they can't get me this quote today, unfortunately, I reckon I'll have to go and pick it up. And I've had my price for the motor anyway, so I know there's a motor there for me to go and use. To go and get, obviously the motor, the impeller would just need balancing. It's just one of them, isn't it? It's sort of the situation we're at, which is not great because just problems come after problems when it's not where you want it to be at, which is frustrating. But we get the jobs done, we get the jobs through, and we get the jobs back out the door. They still get the same quality and the same service. Unfortunately, on our part, we can't take a hit because it's not taking as quick and it's not performing to what we want. So the prices sort of stay the same to normal, but takes longer, and obviously time is money. So yeah, it's not what we want to be, it's not where we want to be. But once we get this motor up and running and back, and I get on that thing and wire it back up, we're laughing, we're sorted. Spinning jobs out like the blasting, it's always dead quick, isn't it? So it's all about time. Time is money, and obviously for us, yeah, obviously it is Steve who does it, and Steve is the fettler. Obviously he has got castings there too, he's got the fire bars to fettle, but obviously the rest of them aren't cast yet, so he's concentrating on that until we get them cast. Then he'll concentrate on that, and then they'll go out. We always spin their jobs out, that's why they like to use us, because we spin them out within like 2 to 4 weeks. 4 weeks is our, for every casting is 4 weeks. We want to be hitting well before 4 weeks. Shouldn't take no longer than 4 weeks for any job, depending on what it is. Some jobs are done in less than a week, some jobs are done in 2 weeks, 3 weeks. It depending on the quantity of the order, it might take longer. But obviously if we need to put all focus on that order, we do put all focus on that order. But normally it's standard, no more longer than 4 weeks. 4 weeks is the cap, the cut off. Obviously patterns different, new patterns they take longer, because we don't have our own pattern maker. I subcontract that, because for us it's never justifiable for us to have our own pattern maker, because that's just more money, more wages. It's not worth it. And not every time you need a new pattern. A lot of people have already got patterns. If you do need a new pattern, we've got 3-4 different pattern makers we can use. All goes out to them. Speed and price is obviously the factors. Sometimes I might go a bit more expensive because they're turning around quicker, so we can turn the castings around quicker. Depends on what it is, and depending on the pattern maker and their quality of workmanship, but most of them are absolutely unbelievable at what they do. So yeah, so we're in a sort of a situation which is great, but I like situations, I like the trouble, I like pressure, especially when you got to turn jobs around quick. Yeah, I think I thrive off that, and it's just one of them, it's just what I'm good at. I think having things that I've got, like ADHD and autism, etc., I'm sort of good at this. And dyslexia, but so I'm good with my hands and not good in the office, but I still do it, still get it done. But it's where we're at today, this moment in time. So hopefully start that motor, show you some videos of making that motor, because I'm going to have to use a pretty big box, because with that, and you've got a big core, you've got pins to line it up, because you don't want to be lower and over that situation, do you know what I mean? So I'll explain more of that when I go to do that, but it's where I'm at. So let's go for a Tuesday morning. So I'll see you this afternoon on a separate video on Instagram. Oh no, wait, I might put it in here as well, but obviously I'm going to do it mobile, sort of friendly. So the thing's different in it, so it's that way, not that way. But that's it for the Tuesday morning. Thank you. Adios. Bon appetit. So we're now doing the body of the motorcation. This is the first half. Obviously ramming it up. Paul's giving it a lift, ramming it up, because it can get a bit tricky. Obviously he's spreading the sand around for me. I'm running around with what I call a ramming tool, which is just a metal bar basically with a block on the end. Obviously you've got to make sure it's nice and tucked and compact, especially with the ventilation fins that run along the outside. Because you've got to make sure, with it being the way it is, you've got to make sure that's tucked in, because obviously if it's not tucked in, your sand is not there basically, and then obviously when you go to cast it, it just won't look as good as what it should look. So when you take it out the mould, the pattern, and then obviously we get on the top, make sure it's all compact, make sure it's nice and level, make sure it's ready to be turned over, and then turning it over using the crane. Basically just lift it up one side, as you will see right now. And as you can see, it is hollow on the inside. Don't think I've shown you that. It's just the way the pattern is. Wonderful pattern, fantastic pattern. But you can actually see where the sand is through the inside as well, where the legs and the support parts are. Obviously we do have cores that go in there as well that create a section. You can see the way the board is not nice and smooth as well, but that's sand, because we can take the sand off but we can't put it back on technically. Well, you can, but you don't want to, but that's fine on my part. Turn it over. The ones who are clever will notice the roll has got in the background. I couldn't ram this part up on that because the sand machine wouldn't go over, it'll go too high as well. So just putting it down, making sure where we need to be as well for the sand machine to go over, because obviously you don't want to be bucking it in because it'll just take too long. You can now see it's flat, and then we'll get ready to put the, well no, I've got to get that half ready first, and then we need nudges, and we need no way of putting the runner. I sort of at this point I'd know where I wanted the runner, but you'll see I changed it. So obviously you've seen all the little bits before, so we're rubbing them off with sandpaper. We're also rubbing around the pattern. Me and David are having conversations about the runner here. The way I wanted to do it, and then he said, well, no, you can't, you shouldn't really do it that way. So we changed it, and that's why we always communicate with one another, because obviously sometimes I have ideas, obviously he has ideas, and then we obviously work together. I had a nightmare to put the box on the wrong way around at first doing this, so I had to change it. That's where I put the runner. That is my runner, because I don't want to drill it. Same again. Part and powder first, and I said fat and powder. But I ended up ramming it up on my own. Yeah, it's fine, but it just takes a little bit longer, a little bit more time. It's harder because you have to stop and start. I wish the sand was this fast, but it never is. It's a lot slower. Obviously, I've sped this right up. Otherwise, it would just be too long, it'd be too boring. But you can see the way it is, and obviously there's quite a lot of sand in this, and it's quite a decent sized box. But that's what you got to do. Obviously, putting bars in again. Obviously, this box has weights on the top when you go to cast it, because obviously you got to put the weight on it. But yeah, that's it. How we ram it up. That's how it's done. And then obviously we smooth this off so it is flat for when the weights sit on as well. And obviously it's what it looks like on the top.
So we're taking the top half off the bottom half. David's taking a little step in and out there. And then we've got to get the pattern out. Lifters are already, well, the bolt sections are already in the pattern. And then obviously we just got to take our time lifting it up. Using the hammer to loosen it up, sending vibration through the wood. We got to make sure you're lifting up straight. Because obviously anything could happen. You can see reduced slightly wonky, it will break one of the fins, and then obviously you don't want that to happen, because wouldn't want to glue that on either, because that'll create another joint, which then when you go to dress it, it'll just look awful. But obviously you can start to see it taking shape, seeing what the outside is going to look like and how it works. See a little bit of a wobble there, but it come out sound, and then we had the point of ramming the core up, which is quite a big solid core, and obviously we needed something to lift in. So what I did is created that monstrosity there, which was a bar with loads of bars welded to it. Obviously got to put the bars in, because obviously that the sand will go around that and add strength, but it'll also help when I've got to lift it up. And then obviously got to move it with the crane. Don't want it nothing to happen. So yeah, just ramming it all up, making sure it's all tight, because obviously it's quite it's not straight, is it? It's got an extra core print section on one side, and obviously it's core print top and bottom with what it actually looks like on the inside, which you will see the casting when it's finished. But yeah, that's it. Ramming that up, making sure it's all nice and tight. Got to make sure this one's nice and flat across the top, because you got to make sure it fits in the mould. And then we get the fun parts taken off. So this core box was actually in 4 sections, which you'll see, which is a lot different, but it needed to be due to how it looks, which looks boss, to be honest. Made up with this job. Up there with one of the best I've done, even though it's something simple, but it just looks boss, doesn't it? So it's Wednesday morning, and yesterday we were saying that we were going to be leaving early, so we did. We left at 2 o'clock, but where we went to the Liverpool Empire for the unveiling of a bust created by Tom Murphy for Bill Kenwright CBE. So the Liverpool Empire got in touch with us about making a plaque, and they give us just less than 10 days to create this plaque. And that's not including working days. Well, no, that is including. That's just working days. So obviously weekends, etc. So normally we're creating a plaque or creating any casting, if it's in a rush, we can do, because you normally should have like a sample or a pattern, but unfortunately we didn't have nothing. All we had was a proof. I asked them, what do you want? He sent me it. So we got that. We got our pattern made. Well, we got sent it to the firm we work with to make our plaques, because it's etched. So once we had that, they sent the proof over, give it to them. They agreed, and we got that made. They said 5 working days to create the pattern sample, but that didn't give them. That was just give us 2 days to create the casting. So I was like, right, sound, it's a rush, but we'll do it. So from there, they got it done ahead of schedule, and with it being done ahead of schedule, we got it made quicker, and we got it. The Liverpool Empire picked it up ahead of schedule for the casting, because we spun it. Once we got that, we turned it around in just over a day. Polished, finished. So I'll put that over here. But it was a great evening to go down and actually see and be a part of it. So I'll put some photos in that we got. It was fantastic seeing a load of different people for Bill Kenwright, and obviously with us being a firm of Evertonians, and Bill Kenwright used to be the chairman of Everton, it was the only right and fitting thing for us to do was to donate the plaque in some sort of term, so it was free, which they were very pleased about. And Jenny Seagrove, Bill's wife or partner, even said when she was saying it, oh, thanks to the firm that give the plaque away for free, just because they were Evertonians. And we were like, yeah, it's not massive, but it was something good to do off our own backs. But now let's get back to work. So yesterday I was doing the motor casing, which I've got half mould coated. The other half's ready. The core's ready. Well, the core's not ready. It's got to be mould coated. But obviously, there's the core. There's the top half. the bottom half. And by the looks of it, because obviously I'd gone early, Steve's finished the motors for the firm, and he's obviously been doing the finished ones of the other, of the finished of the I'm just looking for them, the finished buckets for the wagons. So we've got the motors all done. Has he finished any of them? So we had the core all finished, we had the mould all finished, and it was time to put the core in. It was a bit of a complicated. That was one of the customers who come to pick the fans up, but like this is an industry that he works in with the motors, but I'd never seen how it the casting part works. So he was made up to see. Obviously, always try and bring customers in, show them how it works or what happens. But getting the core in, it was an absolute nightmare. It was slightly too big for what it was, and we were added in and out. I wasn't happy. I was too picky. David was happy. I ended up getting my phone with the spirit level on, trying to tell him that it wasn't right. That's why I kept on looking in and looking around. By the time we got it in, the camera died. But we got it in the end, and we were happy to where it was. But there's no wiggle room at all. The core was an extra millimetre too big for the core print, meaning that it wasn't sitting in properly, so we ended up taking it in, taking it out. So it's Thursday morning, and yesterday, as you would have seen, that we cast the cast iron. So we cast the motor casing, we cast the two end caps, we even done the lava bear benches in cast iron that we were going to do in ductile to build the cast up for the ductile, but we got an order of some ductile castings. So we just cast them in cast iron. Finished the rest of the fire bars, plus a load of the other little jobs that you wouldn't have seen yet. Due to David was making them, obviously I was making the motor casing, so I was filming all that and not filming none of that. It's hard, but yeah, sound. It's good. So my job today is, I'm obviously got to take all the weights off, which is the fun part, and knock the jobs out. But we got lads come in the other day with some, I'd say Land Rover, but off-road axles off the Jeeps that he wanted blasting. It was the powder coater's job. We come round, we give him the prices, and then he went, right, I'll just wait, and then I'll give you the go ahead. And then I got a phone call yesterday saying, what's going on with my axles, why aren't they done? I'm still waiting for the go ahead. So I had to stop Steve from blasting to finish these axles, which he's now finished. So we got done. So, because they're meant to be getting powder coated and picked up today, which is Thursday. Bit frustrating. But we got a lot more blasting in for the truck parts. So there's Scania parts, there's Volvo parts, there's DAF parts, Merc, all off the wagons, which they're all in the yard at the moment, covered up for ready for blasting, because Steve needs to finish the little scoopy things, scoop ones. But the motor prices come in as well. Paul's a bit fuming with it, but it's not exactly cheap, but we need it, so I'm going to have to place that order today, which takes 7 to 5 working days anyway. So hopefully next week we might have a new motor on the blaster once I wire it up. So that's mainly it for today. A couple of men down, so little busy day ahead for the Thursday.